Hello YouTube. Welcome back to Bald Man Building an Airplane. This is part 34 of the canopy. This is absolutely insane how many videos are in here. I guess I could stitch them together, but you know, is what it is. We're sanding, we're blowing dust away with a fan that I've mounted on top because there is so much dust created when you're doing composite work. All I'm doing here is basically shaping the first layup, or rather the main layup. I mean, it's not the first layup. We've put all our glass on. The peel ply was on, and now it's just clean it up, sand it back down to the point where you're going to get a nice shape out of it. This is like, I believe 40 or 60 grit sandpaper on a relatively small sanding block, probably a 3" by 1" or something like that. Just to sort of get any imperfections out of the way. And then it's going to be we'll take a look at it, blow the dust away, and composite work is an iterative process. It's just how it is. Some people like it more than others. Hello. So I've got the initial sanding, the shape sanding done. It's all flush with only the first layer of tape. I've added a new layer of sacrificial tape here because we're going to start putting filler in. There's a couple of spots I don't like. Yeah, like that's one. That sanded through. This, I'm not sure what happened here. I need to sand that actually a little bit more again. But yeah, we're gonna just do a little additional sanding here. And then it's time for, I just gotta rough those areas up so they can actually take filler. There's a few low spots there. There's still this section here. You can see the peel ply texture in there still, so that'll get a little bit of filler. I'm gonna mix up some epoxy and micro for that, so wish me luck. All right, so we're cleaning this off, blowing it off, wiping it down with some alcohol, and then mixing up some tinted epoxy and micro balloons, or glass bubbles, or whatever you want to call it, depending on where your composite supplier is from. This goes on really thick, just trying to fill all the low spots. So the low spots, if you're not familiar with composite work, after you sand, what you've sanded turns white, and then what you haven't touched ends up being darker because you haven't scuffed it with the sandpaper. So the point of that is, with the sanding block, you sand down the stuff that you want to take away, and if there's still a low spot, you either add filler or you sand the stuff around it to match the low spot. It looks like I'm also putting on a layer of epoxy, probably just to seal it. And then we're going to still have to come back and sand it again anyway, because this is once again, this is a on and off process. We're just going to pull this tape off before it goes, though, so that way we don't bond the filler to the tape. So the epoxy and micro balloons from last night has cured, and I've already done some sanding on it. As you can see, there's definitely some low spots still. I think I was too aggressive with my putty knife. The reason I went with epoxy and micro was there were parts here where I couldn't, like there was some gap, like I didn't get the glass right up to the edge of the tape here, and that was causing like light bleed through from this side, so it looked like, whatever. Cosmetic imperfection, basically, that I'd see from the inside all the time, and it would bother me. So I used epoxy and micro so I could tint it and fill those areas. Now that that's done, I'm going to come back with some Total Boat Total Fair. All right. Austin Menke turned me onto that stuff. I will use that to fill the remaining spots once I wipe it down with some alcohol and whatnot. So we'll do that fill and wipe fill and then wait, because once again you gotta wait for the stuff to cure. At least that is sandable in about 3-4 hours.